we'll start a little bit now. I mean, it's a really full schedule. There's a lot of information being thrown at you. So the earlier we start, the better. The more time to actually networking in and ask Q&A afterwards, right? So first of all, want to tell everybody April Fool's joke? No class, go home. Mark is like, no, it's not funny. He came all the way from Connecticut, Mark.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
It's a nice trip. All right, anyways, joke. So welcome everybody. And first of all, I want to thank the people who are filming us, which is a Reality Crowd TV. They actually going to be filming the whole event besides Brian, because he has something with A&E, he can be filmed. But we'll give you guys all the footage and the PowerPoint information that you can use in the future. So there's a Reality Crowd TV. Do you guys want to say a couple words? Who knows?
Sure. Shall I just say it here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for allowing us to be here, and thank you Alex for allowing us to be here. It's very generous. So Reality Crowd TV, we are a reality TV show about the crowdfunding movement, and you guessed it, we're going to crowdfund our own reality TV show about the crowdfunding movement. Wally, how are you? Good. How are you?
All right.
And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to show how diverse, how unique, how amazing this industry is. Highlight out all the players in the industry so that everyone wins. The crowd is about collaboration. So if everyone works together and we don't set up barriers for everyone else, if we all work together, everyone's going to win. Because the pie is large enough for everyone. And so I think that's what we're trying to show. Let's show people how to crowdfund. Let's teach them the right tools to use so that the success rates go up on the platforms, the funding goes up for everyone, and then people live their dreams. And so that's why we're here. And Alex, thanks again for allowing us to be here.
Sure, pleasure. Thanks for taking it.
Good.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say why I'm doing this class. And this is the first time I'm actually bringing this kind of people, these experts together for the first time. And the reason is, besides this, I do these monthly events in the city, which are free networking events for crowdfunding. Anybody can go. I bring different platforms. There's experts from accounting and lawyers, and there's different people in the industry, and they can come together and they can talk and learn about crowdfunding. And every single time, I've been doing it since the summer, and it's been growing at about over 800 people. Over 100 people every single event, and every single event somebody comes up to me and asks, "Is there going to be a presentation?" And I say no. Is there going to be a class? Is there going to be some educational material? And that wasn't really my expertise. I just did these events, just networking events. And so this is my first kind of foray into classes. And the usual classes I see around the city is usually there's either one speaker speaking about all different types of crowdfunding and how to crowdfund, how to make a video, how to promote it. And it's very broad for one person to speak. Or there's usually a panel of, 4 platforms or 4 successful projects, and it's usually very specialized. So what I'm trying to do is kind of bring people from all different areas, right? So kind of give you a high-level overview of what is crowdfunding, what's reward-based crowdfunding, what's a video, how to make a video, how to promote it, how do you protect the IP, how do you build a campaign. So bring all these different parts and give you a high-level overview. And then hopefully you guys, if you have any specific questions in certain areas, you can ask. So the speakers, and then we'll have a Q&A for everybody. So we can go more in depth with these classes. Besides this, I'm also going to be doing, I'm doing a class actually on Thursday with, I don't think it's here, Kenneth, there's Bridge Street. I'm also doing a class called Introduction to Crowdfunding end of this month, in April 29th. So if everybody's interested in that, you can take a look at the meetup. And there's going to be actually another type of class for equity crowdfunding, also April 28th, where I'm bringing 6 or 7 different experts teaching the whole overview of equity crowdfunding. So this is actually kind of the first, and maybe the last one, because this is actually a lot of work to put together, and I don't know if I'll do it again. We'll see how this one goes. Hopefully you guys can give me some feedback. If you like it, I'll do one again in the future as well. So, welcome. All right. So So let me start, I guess. So this is basically the breakdown. I'll be speaking first, and then we'll cover every single area of crowdfunding. And I ask the speakers to keep it short, between 10 minutes. They can go a little over 15, but I want every speaker to have a chance to actually speak his presentation, and then we'll do a general Q&A. So I do this kind of presentation. I do a very broad. Hey, Howard. Hey, Howard, welcome. You want to sit here? Oh, you can sit here. It's fine.
No, either way.
No, actually, sit here. So this is something about me. I run a company called CrowdSunite, which is the largest review site in the world for crowdfunding, and we have hundreds of reviews for different sites. Rocket Hub, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, so you can see how other people experience those sites, what's the best one to use, kind of educate you about crowdfunding. I start workshops, I speak at panels, I write some articles about crowdfunding, and the last one's very interesting is actually we got featured in the January issue of Entrepreneur Magazine. So there's a whole article about us, what we do, there's a full picture of me as well. So pretty excited about that. So that's my credentials. And so what is crowdfunding? And if you think about it, this is how the traditional way of raising money. So there's always used to be this middleman or intermediary between people who have money and people who need the money. Most people can think of it as a bank, but for music, there's a record label. For book authors, there's publishing houses. There used to be some sort of an intermediary which decides which projects or businesses deserve the money. They do their due diligence and then they give money. And so let's say if a business wants to raise $20,000, right? They collect money, so I give $1,000 to a bank. The bank gets other people, 20 other people give $1,000, pulls it together and gives it to a business. I get 1% back from the bank, and the bank charges 6-7% to these businesses. And that's how the bank makes 5-6% interest, and it's called a spread. And traditionally, that's how banks make billions and billions of dollars, right? But this model hasn't been working the last couple of years. After talking to a lot of small businesses, it's really hard for them to get a loan, right? Because right now, banks focus on $1 million bid projects. Because they have a lot of fixed costs on infrastructure, and they're not interested in giving money to smaller projects. They don't want to give money for $5,000, $10,000 to businesses. It's not really cost effective for them. Crowdfunding comes in, and this is the key aspect of crowdfunding, is now you don't need to have this kind of bank. And people can give money directly to the businesses, right? Through a platform or website, and so people decide which businesses deserve money and they give it directly. And there's other benefits besides the financial benefit, right? You value the market that the people actually want this product, right? So there's been a lot of cases where, Pebble Watch, for example, kind of valued the market for smartwatches. I'm not sure if people heard of Pebble Watch, but they raised $10 million when they were asking for $100,000. They raised $10 million. So that's more. And after they raised $10 million, other companies jumped in and started making smartwatches, because this kind of validates that there's really is a demand for a product. You actually can interact with these people. So you have their email addresses or forums, so you can get feedback from them. You can build relationships with them, potentially becoming future customers, right? So instead of just going to a bank and the bank gives you money, now you have all these kind of people that actually can interact with you, and there's other potential benefits. On the negative side, there's big thing people here think is fraud, because traditionally, if there was a bank in the middle, the bank did the due diligence and the homework to make sure, hey, this business actually can pay back the money, and we'll invest in it. Now, since the bank is missing, how do you know the person giving money to is actually who he says he is, and he'll actually return the product or the money that he promised? And that's a lot of issues right now in crowdfunding, and we hear in the news, that's the main concern is, will people deliver the rewards? Or he's not going to take the money and fly to Hawaii. Okay? Right. So And there's a lot of other, so this problem is being fixed right now. So it is a lot of talk about it, and there's different ways to do it. And the reason why crowdfunding is successful is because social media really came into being, the last 5 years. And that's really where it's to validate the person. That this person is who he says he is because he has Facebook friends and Twitter friends, and if he actually takes some money and runs away, then his friends will know that he's a fraud. Right? So so all these kind of parts came together. The social media came together, PayPal, online payments, internet, the downfall of commercial banking in 2008. All these parts came together to really kind of explore crowdfunding. And the crowdfunding didn't exist 10 years ago, and last year it was estimated to be $5 billion. Now it could be $10 billion. I didn't see the current report, it should be coming out soon. But it's been doubling every single year, and it's a really exciting industry to be in. So, just want to touch on reward-based crowdfunding, because there's different types of crowdfunding, and it all depends on what the business or the individual gives back to his backers. If you're giving back a simple thank you, which could be it's called donation, and it has been, that's how people, Red Cross, emails you all the time and sends letters to you. That's been working for, 50 years. That's crowdfunding. And actually, donation, people don't think about it, is a $60 billion industry. No, $300 billion industry. It's 10 times larger than the VC industry in the United States. So it is huge. So if you're a nonprofit and you can get away with saying, hey, I'll just give you a simple thank you, that's called a donation. Reward-based crowdfunding is when you give a perk or a service or something back to your backers. There's debt crowdfunding, which is just an interest. People give you money, you give them back an interest on a loan, how traditional banks work. And then there's equity crowdfunding, which is where you give equity to people. So that's the different 4 types of major crowdfunding that exist right now. And all this is you're working directly with the people instead of working with institutions. And so this whole talk is about reward-based crowdfunding. So reward-based crowdfunding is exchange, like I said, goods or services. It's really good if you're pre-selling an item. That's what Pebble did. They say, hey, you give us $200, you'll get this watch, in 6 months. I mean, they were late. It took them, I think, like a year or so, but they delivered the watch. But it's really good if people kind of pre-sell items. It's really good for musicians, right? They have a huge fan base. Instead of going to record labels, they go directly to the fans. They say, hey, I want to create this really amazing album. I want to raise $50,000. If you give me $20 now, you'll get the album once I make it in a year, right? So they skip the whole record label, the middleman, and go directly to the fans. Authors go directly the same thing. Authors go directly to their fans for bucks. There's a really good company called Pupslush. They come to my event all the time, and this is what they're doing. They're kind of removing the publisher, or even Amazon, and they're selling books directly on the site. And the good thing, if you sell stuff on Amazon, you have no idea who buys it, right? If you go through a platform, you get their contact, email. If you launch a next book, you can go and contact them again, saying, hey, I'm doing my second book. You bought my first one, this might interest you. So this way of raising money is really good, but it's not easy. You need to have a really crowd. You need to have a crowd of people behind you. If you don't have it, you have to build it. The stats from last year is actually average raise is 2,300. For some of the bigger sites like Rocket Hub, I think it's a bit higher, but it's less than 10,000 still. Industry size was 1.3 billion. I think it's much larger now. And more than 50% of them fail. It takes a lot of work and effort, and it's not expensive per se. I mean, the most expensive thing would be probably making a video, which LUI here can give us some cost analysis probably. But it will take a lot of time and effort and promotion. So it takes a lot of effort. Some of the sites out there, so there's hundreds of sites, and that's why the CrowdSunite is I gather all these sites together. So I just want to mention some of the key players. There's Rocket Hub. So Rocket Hub has actually really good customer support on our website. We have 35 reviews from them. They rate about 9.3 for customer support versus an Indiegogo, which rates about 6. So people are really happy with our customer experience. Kickstarter is, people put a lot of fear of Kickstarter. They're more selective. It's all or nothing. They like project based. Some stats list from last year. They got 51 projects over $1 million. In 2013, they raised $480 million. But it is close to that now. There's Indiegogo, which is open for everybody, for anything. It's a global site. There's more specialized sites, and this is where my service kind of really comes in, because people really are not familiar with these more small sites, like pubs for authors, small, not for local businesses. And the last one is actually a kind of self-to-do plugin. So if anybody has a website and you have a lot of traffic on the website, you can actually launch it crowdfunding on your own site. And so one of the biggest projects ever, like if I ask people, what's the biggest project for crowdfunding? People will say maybe $1 million, $2 million, Pablo raised $10 million. The largest so far, I actually checked today, is Star Citizen, raised $41 million. And over 290,000 people gave him money. Basically, it's a person it's a game developer who in the 90s, he came out, I think, with the Wing Commander, which is a really cool game. I played it. It's like you fly around in space, shoot like other spaceships. And so he launched his campaign with this idea. He wants to build a whole universe, 3D universe, amazing graphics. He has everything planned out. And he went directly to his fan base, and he launched, I think, a couple of years ago. And every single time he has this thing called stretch goals. So if he raised $41 million, he said, hey, if I raise 42, I'll create a whole new planet. And there'll be a whole new race of people. If I raise 43, I'll create a whole new spaceship, that you can buy. And when people actually go and pledge and give him money to kind of pre-buy some of the spaceships in the game. And so it's a pretty amazing thing. If you have a chance to take a look, and $41 million, and this is for a product that's not even made. It doesn't exist, and he's not giving equity or debt for it. So it's pretty much pre-sale money. Pretty amazing. But you need to have a fan base. So that's all for me.